Right. So in the last session, we have seen how to create implementation project. Before that, we just gone through the process of how to enable offerings and options. And we created implementation project. We have seen how you can assign offerings and options. If you want to remove, how to remove that. During the implementation project, how to include after implementation project creation, how to add additional offerings and options. And these are the points we have seen. Along with that, how to update the status, how we can assign the resource various levels. These are all points we discussed with respect to FSM, Functional Setup Manager. The implementation project always we create as a part of system configuration. And if you create the implementation project, easily you can move the settings from one instance to another instance. That is a great advantage of implementation project. So mostly you can create separate projects for each country. If you want to have single implementation project even for multiple countries, that works. But only the challenge is when you do the setups, you have to be very careful if you are doing the setups for multiple countries from single implementation project. After doing setups, even if you delete your implementation project, your setups will remain as it is. Implementation project is providing the user interface to navigate and to do the setups. It is not going to delete your setups. Okay, you can do the setups with one implementation project. Say by mistake you or somebody deleted, you no need to worry about the setups. Again, create one more implementation project. Through that implementation project, you will be able to have access to the setups which are completed from other implementation projects also. That is possible. So this is the level of understanding we need when we deal with functional setup manager related to implementation project. Now, so we have our own user, we created our implementation project. Now we can start doing we can start recording the transactions. If you want to record the transactions, what we need in the system. Okay. If you want to record the transactions, what we need in the system. 1 second. I think I just opened some different sheet. 1 second, please. So if you want to do record any transactions in the system, we have to keep certain setups are ready so that will support to create the transactions. So the concept is transaction creation. Okay, in any application. Okay, in any application, if you want to create the transaction, what setups we have to complete within the instance. So when you create the transaction, there are primarily 3 elements. One is you have to capture the date. The other element is description. Date, description, and amount. In every transaction, you have to capture the description. So description talks about what activity we are doing. Are we purchasing? If you are purchasing, what we are purchasing? Which company is purchasing? Which department is purchasing? Where you are purchasing? All the details we can have within the description. And with the date, we can capture when exactly we are doing that activity. Okay, when exactly we are doing that activity, that you can capture with the date. And with the amount, whatever the amount you enter in the transaction, that amount we have to identify with the currency. Amount is required. Again, the amount need to be identified. The amount is rupees or dollars or dinars. What exactly, which currency is that? We have to specify the currency for the amounts what we enter in the system. So primarily these are the 3 elements which need to be captured in each and every transaction, which we will record in the system. Okay, which will record in the system. So this is what we have to understand about transaction creation. First, we'll go with the date. If you want to create the date in the system, you have to create calendar. Okay, we have to create the calendar. So we have to create the calendar. If you want to create the calendar, what are the points need to be considered? It's very simple. For which country you are creating the calendar, you have to just make a note. Okay, for which country you are creating calendar, you have to make a note. Accordingly, you can define the calendar. Say you are creating the calendar for US. You are doing the implementation for one of the US client, and you have to create the calendar for US. To create the calendar for US, you have to understand what is the financial year. What is the financial year they follow in US. Accordingly, we have to create the calendar. If you are creating the calendar for Indian client, what is the financial year in India? Accordingly, you have to create. It's very simple. The first point is the country financial year. The country financial year we have to create in the system as a calendar. For India, April to March. For US, Jan to December. This is how you have to create the calendar for respective countries. And second point is period type. Okay. Generally, the period type is monthly. Okay. So when you look at the calendar, the periods what we use in the calendar is monthly. Okay. The first point is financial year. For which country we are doing implementation, we have to take into consideration. And period type, ideally that is monthly. The third point is additional periods. When you create the calendar with monthly, the 12 periods we can have. Doesn't matter when that year starts as per the country. Okay, it may start in the Jan and it may end in the December. Or as per India, it may start in the April, it may end in the next year, March. Or for a few other countries, it may start in the July and it can end in the June. Doesn't matter for us. So we'll have a 12 periods. So any additional periods are required into calendar that we have to consider. Why additional periods are required? When we are closing the books end of the year, if you want to pass some adjustment entries, or you may call as a provisions, we can use that additional periods. These are the 3 points which we have to take into consideration when you create the calendar in the system. The first one is what is the financial year for that country. The second one is what is the period type. The third one is additional periods. Additional periods. Any additional periods we require more than 12. 12 are real periods. More than 12 means those are additional periods. Those additional periods as per system we call as adjustment periods. The additional periods we call as adjustment periods. So this is what we have to understand about calendar. We'll see in the system. If you have any questions, we'll discuss. Yeah, we'll go and see in the system. So go to our implementation project. Task list. Manage implementation projects. Just click on overview and open the project. Let me zoom it. Yeah. So just open the implementation project. Now what we want to do, we want to create calendar. The calendar what we create, we can call it as accounting calendar. Based on these dates, system will create accounting entries. That is the reason this we call as accounting calendar. Search for accounting calendar. So manage accounting calendars is the task. Manage accounting calendars is the task. You no need to search with the full name. Even you can search with the partial name, system can fetch it. And this is the actual path. You no need to follow this path. You no need to remember the path within the project, saying that you have to expand the financials. Within the financials, we have to go to define common application configuration for financials. and define enterprise structure for financials, and define financial reporting structures, define calendars. You no need to follow this complete navigation path. Directly, you can search for any task. You will be able to find out the task. By using manage accounting calendars task, we can create the calendar. Let's see how to create it. Click on this task. Click on go to task icon. This is a calendar creation page. So if it is a fresh instance, you don't see any sample data. This instance we are using for practice. That is the reason many calendars you can see here. So if you are not using it for practice, you don't see all this. Okay, you don't see all this. So you will see like this. It's a blank page. In case of fresh instance, you don't see all this. You will see this as a blank instance. Okay, blank instance. That's how you find. We'll go and create the calendar. So just click on create, and you can give the name. So name is, we are taking the company name as XYZ INC. You can give the same XYZ INC, say ACCCAL. XYZ INC ACCCAL accounting calendar. Why I am giving the short name? It doesn't allow the long name because it allows very limited characters. Now, if I type something else, more than one more letter, it is not accepting. That's it. That is a maximum size, maximum characters you can enter into this field. If you want to write the description very detailed level, yes, you can write it. You can write it as XYZ IMC accounting calendar for USA. This is how you may write the description. And when we talk about accounting calendar for USA, what would be the start date? The start date for US is Jan 1st. So here start date you have to select as Jan 1st. Okay, Jan 2023 1st. Select it. And period frequency. We always create monthly. And here you can see the period format, how system has to display the period names. So this is how system is defaulting Jan-23. If you want to change the format, you can change it. Okay, you can change. If you want to change the format, you can change it. So you want to see the year full name or month in 3 digits. You just set it, select it. Accordingly, it will display. Okay. So otherwise, you can keep like this. And how this month and year need to be separated. Hyphen. Okay, month and year need to be separated with hyphen, or else you may put slash or you can put none, so that it will combine the year and month and it will display the period name. Okay, always you can use hyphen. And how many additional periods you require, that you can set here. Adjusting period frequency. How many periods we require? Once at year end. Okay. End of the year we did one. Why end of the year we may require? Mostly we record adjustment entries in when we are closing the books for that entire year. Okay, we may not require in the mid of the year, but the options are available here. So when exactly you need additional periods, you can choose. Reality, we use this. If some client says they need something else, yes, you can choose accordingly. But reality, what we do, we'll have one additional periods and at the end of the year. 12 periods plus one more. One more is additional. That's it. So these are the inputs we have to provide in this calendar creation page. The moment you click on next, it will create accounting calendar automatically with all the periods for the 2023 year. And here is one checkbox called as budgetary control only. There is a separate concept called as budget. For the budget, if you want to use separate calendar, you can create and you can use. When we deal with the budget, we'll talk about it. Now the concept is not budget, just accounting calendar creation. Okay, these are the inputs we have to provide. If you click on next, it will generate accounting calendar with all the periods. You see here, based on the inputs what we given, it created 12 periods plus one more, 13. What date range it is taking for 13? December 31st to December 31st. It is taking just one day for adjustment purpose, and it is marking this period is adjusting period. Rest of all periods are real periods. For every period, it is creating automatically date range. Jan 23 means 1st Jan 23 to Jan 31st 23. That's how for every period it is taking the date range and it is grouping into which period falls under which quarter. These 3 periods in first quarter, these 3 in the second, these 3 in the third, fourth. Okay, that's how you could see it. So this is how you can create accounting calendar and you can save it. Just click on save. If you want to create accounting calendar for the future years, if you want to create the periods for future years, yes, you can create. We are not going to create calendar, accounting calendar every year. We are not going to create accounting calendar every year. We create only one accounting calendar for every year. We need to add the periods into the same accounting calendar. So this is what we have to understand. So once you save this accounting calendar, you can see add year tab is enabled. If you click on add year, it will add next year periods. It will add periods for 2024. So this is all about accounting calendar. Any questions from anyone, please?
Sir, have you seen that adjustment period is already there? Or do we need to create a
Adjustment period?
adjustment period? Yeah, it is there. Yeah. The last period it is created, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Any questions, please?
Yeah,
Is this calendar at instance level then?
See, it's not like level. You can use calendar for country, specific country. Once you create, it will be available in instance. But if it is available, no use. Somewhere we have to tag it. This we created for US. For US purpose, we will tag in the relevant setups. The creation and availability is instance only, but usage is not instance. We'll come to know all those.
Okay, I understood. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Questions?
Yeah, Lakshman, instead of the end date is the last day of the month, is there any provision? Can we set the end date as 28th of the, 28th every month?
You can do it. That we have to do through manual process. When we do that, system also knows very well which period ends with what date. Ensure there is no gap.
Okay.
That's it. You can manually take care of it. You can go and do update here. So you can make it as, okay, March 1st to 28th. When it is 28th, what about 29th, 30, 31st? That you may start with in your April month.
Okay.
Here we have to start with March 29th, 23 to maybe end of the month, or here also up to 28th, your wish. So what system will do is it will verify is there any gap, any date is missing, it will check. That should not be there. Yeah, you can do that.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions?
This calendar year every year created or once?
Only one time we create accounting calendar. We use it for the lifetime, how long the company is going to use this Fusion applications. And every year we can add the periods in the same calendar.
Okay.
So this is the calendar, XYZ accounting calendar. Within that, we added periods for 2023 year. Right?
Yes.
Now, if you click on add year, it will add the periods for next year.
Okay, thank you.
Next. That's it.
Krishna, I have one question. So when we have multiple set of books like local GAAP books and US GAAP books, we may have different accounting calendars over there. So
yes, how many you require, create those many and use it wherever you require.
Hello, Krishna, am I audible?
Yeah, Lakshman this side.
Lakshman, sorry. Yeah, hi Lakshmi. Sorry, I was saying like in multiple set of books where we have US gap and local gap, can we define different
Yes,
set of
yes,
calendars
yes.
for those?
You can define and you can use in the respective set of books if you refer EBS 11I. If you talk about EBS R12 or Fusion, primary ledger or other ledgers, possible.
Lakshman, probably you're gonna cover this in later sessions, but just had a question. Why do we use the adjusting period?
See, we are closing the books in the end of the year. Okay, you are not sure about how to take certain amounts into, you are not able to finalize certain things. Okay, you are not able to finalize certain things. Those you can record in the adjustment period for temporary purpose till you just jump into the next year.
Okay, and are we going to see those kind of examples or some kind of?
Yeah, we will record that if you want to see that. That's nothing. It's very general practice. You will see
Okay.
how to create the journals. There it can be covered.
Okay.
Yeah, you will see that.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. And again, it is not mandatory. Another point. Okay, as a recommendation, always we suggest the clients to have at least one adjustment periods. There are few clients, they are not using adjustment period. What they say is, we don't want to record any kind of adjustment or provisions in the separate period. We will record in the last period of the year. That is also fine.
Okay.
Yeah, many clients, they don't use the adjustment period. Okay, but we recommend in future if they change their mind to use, not possible. That you have to decide at the time of accounting calendar creation. After a few years, if they want to have one more additional period as adjustment period, that is not possible. They may use it, may not use it. You can suggest. Okay, you can suggest to have a adjustment period within the accounting calendar. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions, please? Any questions from anyone? No questions. Okay. So if you want to create the periods for next year, just hit this add year tab. One click, it will add period. See, it added. 24 also it added. Now you can click on save. To save it. After saving, you can just filter and you can see the periods what created for 2023 and 2024. This is what we have to understand about accounting calendar. See here, you have like periods for these 2 years. You can select all and you can see 23 below 23 and above 24. That's it. So next year again you can keep adding. You are not going to keep creating the new calendars. We never create calendar for every year, only one accounting calendar. We can add the years for every year. That's it. Okay, say save and close. This format you can change if you want to change. So you created periods for these 2 years, but from next year you want to have a different format. No worries. You can change the format. Okay, from now, whatever you create, system will generate the period with this format. Okay, for existing, it will remain as it is. For new years, when you create the periods, if you want to have a different format, it's okay. It's just visibility, right? So that system will allow. You can change it. You can click on add here. It will create for 2025 by following this period name format. So this is all about accounting calendar. Okay, if you want to create an accounting calendar for India, how to create? Say just XYZ India calendar. You have to give start date as our financial year starts with April 1st. Okay, and everything is fine. Now click on next. created. See, April 23 to March 24. And you see here it is taking as a 2024. Why it is taking 2024? This is a reporting year. When our financial year is going to end in 2024 only, 2024 March it will end. So the year it is taking as a 2024, it is nothing but reporting year. Our current financial year reporting year would be 2024 March. So that's what it is taking. Yeah. So this is all about accounting calendar creation. Right.
Lakshman, can we have more than one adjusting period?
Yes, you can have many. When you create
Okay.
accounting calendar, here you can choose how many you require. See, once at beginning of year and one at end of the year. Okay, one is in the mid of the year, one at end of the year. Okay, one
Okay.
at mid of the year, two at year of end of the year.
Okay.
One at end of the year, two at year end. Okay, none are quarterly. If you select quarterly, for every 3 periods, it will add one additional adjustment period. That means 4 adjustment periods you will get quarter wise. For each quarter, one adjustment period.
Okay.
If you select other, you can specify how many adjustment periods you require. 5 you require.
Okay.
Yeah. Or else you can set none. So many clients for reality, they go with the none. And as a functional consultant, we have to suggest them. Have at least one adjustment period at end of year. In future, if you require, you can use it, or else it will be just lying in the system. There is no issue with that. So this is what we have to recommend. The reason is, in the future, if they want one additional period, we cannot accommodate. Okay, we cannot add any additional adjustment periods into existing calendar. How you create, you have to take it forward. That's it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, if any questions, let me know. We'll discuss. Okay, that's all about accounting calendar. We have to understand. Once accounting calendar is ready in the system, when you create any transaction with the help of accounting calendar, you can capture the date and you can capture the period. Are you finding some kind of big noise from my end? Because there is some event.
No, Lakshman, no.
It's okay, right? Okay, great. Thanks. Right. I could hear that. So it is coming to you or not, I'm just checking. Great. If you're not finding any background noise, that's great. Thanks. So any questions here, please?
Lakshman, in the case of additional periods, suppose if you are going to create a one in year, at the end of the year, we have to go closer, right?
Yeah,
That
every
additional
period
period.
we close.
Yeah, we have to close, then only it should allow for the transaction to the
Without
next year.
closing also it will allow, but as a best practice, we keep closing every month periods, every month. When we are switching from Feb to March, we close the February period and we'll settle everything. Then we open the March and we do the business. We enter the transaction the March month in the system. When we are switching to April month, we close March period. Means you close the March books. That's how you close year also. When you are switching to next financial year, you have to close in the December month in case of US. You have to close the books in the end of the year before you jump into the next year.
Okay.
So it is mandatory. It is always best practice. If you are not doing, nobody is going to force you to do it. You have to do it when you are using the system. You have to do it when you are using some books of accounting. Okay, it's a best practice so that you'll have a great visibility. What's going wrong? Everything is getting reconciled or not? Is there any deviations?
Are we
Everything will come to
required?
know.
Sorry, Lakshman. Are we required to open adjustment periods and close it before opening the new year's period?
Without opening previous periods, you cannot open the next period.
I'm asking about adjustment period.
Anything applicable to the same. Say December, you have a December period. Okay. So December is open and you are closing. Now, what is the next period you have?
Here we are having a additional adjustment. period.
Adjustment. Your requirement is you have to open the next year first month, first period. That is John, right?
Yes.
So if you want to open the John, before John, what period we have?
December 31st adjustment period.
Yeah, adjustment period we have. That you should open. Without opening the adjustment period, you cannot open the next period. So it means you open it. If you want to record anything, you can record. Otherwise, just close it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's how it was. We'll see
Thank
all
you,
those in
Lakshman.
the system when we are directly dealing with opening, closing. We'll come to know all those. Yeah. So any other questions here, please? No questions. Let's talk about amount. So when we record the transaction, it could be any transaction. It may talks about your purchases, what you are doing, or expense, what you are spending, or it might be sales. Any transaction you take for the instance, you have to enter the amounts. You have to enter the amounts. When we are entering the amounts need to be addressed with the currency. You have to specify the currency. So if I'm going to enter some figures like 10,000, 500, 5,000, 100, 10, it doesn't make any sense. What I enter some figures, what it refers, there is no clue. What are the figures you enter in the system as amounts, you have to address with the currency. Now I can say 10,000 is dollars, USD. Okay, United States dollars. 5,000 is INR. And 100 is marks. This 10 is kilometers. It could be anything, right? There are some figures. You can provide the measurement for those figures. 10,000 is not rupees, 10,000 is dollars. 10,000 is dollars. And 10 is not rupees or dollars. 10 represents kilometers or kilograms or square feet or meters or centimeters or millimeters, anything. And 100 is marks. If you don't give this clarity in the system, it doesn't make any sense. That is the reason in every transaction, whatever the amounts you enter, whatever you enter in the figures, you have to specify with the measurement. The first two are related to money measurements. Okay, the first two are related to money related measurements, rupees and dollars. But rest of two are not related to money measurements. So those are kind of marks and kilograms. The USD INR represents the measurements related to currency. Marks and kilometers, this also represents measurements only. Both are measurements. These are money related, these are not related to money. These rupees and dollars, you can say monetary measurements. Monetary means money, money related measurements. These two measurements are not related to money. It means non-monetary measurements. In the system, whenever you record the transaction, you may enter mostly 99%, 999%. We enter rupees, dollars, or other currencies only. We no need to enter this marks and kilometers or kilograms or square feet, etc. If you have a business scenario, you want to do some calculations based on the marks or based on the kilograms, based on the production, you want to allocate some expense or you want to allocate the revenue what you generated. Okay, so for example, you have a plant. So plant produced some products and you run the plant for 100 hours. For 100 hours, you could produce certain quantity of the product and you want to know the expense what you spent or revenue what you could make from each plant based on how many hours you run and how many products are generated, how much cost you incurred. These are all calculations you want to do. In such kind of scenarios, we need this kind of information. Okay, so maybe just hours could be your other measurements and production could be other measurements. This is all you can do in those aspects. By default, these are not required. If you talk about real business transaction, so no kilograms, meters, those may play in the role, but not with the amount. When you talk about amount, primarily the currency measurements. But sometimes if you are doing some sort of calculations, you have to take care of this part also. So these all put together, we call as currency types in the system. Okay, we call as currency types. So when you talk about currency types, basically we have three types of currencies. One is functional currency. The second one is foreign currency. Third one is stat currency. So what is the meaning of functional currency? It's very simple to understand. Your client is running the business in US. What is the local currency in US? USD. That local currency we call as functional currency. Functional currency means the country local currency. Okay, the country local currency we call as functional currency. And the second point is foreign currency. So which is not your functional, all those are foreign currencies. If you are doing the business in India, INR is your functional currency because INR is the local currency for India. So apart from INR, any currency you treat as a foreign currency. If you do business in US, USD is your functional, all other currencies are foreign. If you are doing the business in US and India, for India, INR is functional. For US, USD is the functional. For India, USD is the foreign. For US, INR is the foreign. It's always other country currency is the foreign currency first. And stat currency. Reality, this is not at all a currency at all. Okay, this is not at all a currency. So, but still we treat it as a currency as per system. What you treat as a currency? Statistical information we treat as a stat currency. What is the statistical information? Other than currency measurements, what are the different measurements you have? All these we call as statistical measurements. Okay, this is all we call as statistical measurements. So that we call as stat currency. You take marks, kilograms, meters, square feet. This all comes under statistical information. So instead of giving the different names for all those, so what Oracle says, if you are going to deal with any measurement related information in the system, simply name it as a stat currency. And what exactly that is, you can use the account. If it is a marks, use the marks account. And call as a currency as a stat. From statistical, okay, word or a term, they took first 4 letters that we are calling as a stat. From statistical, first 4 letters we are taking, the name we are calling as a stat. Stat means statistical. Reality, not currency, but as per system, we have to treat as a stat currency. If you are going to enter something which is not related to money, those figures you treat as a stat currency. Okay, so this is what we have to understand when we talk about currencies: functional currency, foreign currency, stat currency. This is how you can classify the currencies in the system. So as per country, we have to create accounting calendar. For which country we are creating, Oracle is not providing because they can create if they want, because it's a fixed. But sometimes your requirement may be different. You want to have additional adjustment periods, or you may want 2 adjustment periods or 1 adjustment period. How you need adjustment periods, that Oracle is not aware. That is the reason Oracle never create any accounting calendar for your country. You have to create as a consultant. When we talk about currencies, it is not like we can have our own currencies as per ISO. Okay, so International Organization standards, those currencies are fixed for every country. So since currency is fixed, you no need to create in the system. Oracle is providing all the country currencies. You no need to create any currency in the system. What we have to do is use it whatever you need. If you want to use any currency in the system, you have to ensure the currency is enabled. You want to use USD currency in the system, just ensure the currency is already enabled in the system so that you can use it. So you no need to create the currencies. That is a point you have to understand. All the currencies Oracle is providing. If something Oracle is providing, we call it as what? We discussed in case of roles. Oracle is providing the roles called as application implementation consultant and IT security manager roles. These two roles Oracle is providing. These two roles we are calling as which roles? Anyone? We used one term for that. What is that?
Seeded.
Seeded, that's it. So seeded roles we called those two roles. Now the currency also the Oracle is providing. So currency data, currency details also we call as seeded. Okay, that means Oracle is providing seeded currency. Oracle is providing seeded currency. Seeded means which comes with the product, which you no need to create, which Oracle is providing, which is a fundamental data. Okay, if that is not there, you cannot use the system. That's how it acts. Certain things even Oracle is providing, you can create, but in case of currency, you no need to create at all. If for certain country, if currency is missing, you may plan for it. Okay, for certain countries, currency is missing, you can create it. That we will see how to create. So we'll go and see in the system how these currencies can be managed, where you can find all the serial currencies, how to enable, disable, what else we have to understand related to currency. We'll go through it. Before we just jump into the system, any questions from anyone, please?
So you mean to say, Lakshman, Oracle will provide all countries' currency as a seeded currency. Only thing is we need to enable the required currency, right?
Right. You're right.
And are we required to provide the rates also?
If you are doing foreign currency transactions, say you are doing the business in US, you have a suppliers and customers from India. Okay, you may get
Okay.
invoice from India supplier in INR. You have to record that in your system in INR currency. So exchange rates are required. When you enter the rupees in your system, those need to be converted into dollars. For that, you have to maintain the exchange rates. Yes, that also you have to do, but that you no need to understand now. Just only the point is how to deal with the currencies. What the point what we are discussing is that is a kind of transactions. When we are dealing with the transactions, we will do all those. How to maintain the rates, how to record the foreign currency transactions, foreign currency payments, foreign currency receipts, and different scenarios we have across the different applications. We'll work on all those. Okay, rates you can maintain. To answer your question, yes, we can maintain the rates. Now you don't need to focus on the rates, only currency information. That's it. Questions, please. Okay, no questions. Now we'll go and see the currencies in the system environment. Go to instance, search for the task called as manage currencies. The task name is manage currencies. You can use any task. Both will take you to the same page. Okay, choose first one or second one. Forget about the path what they are giving. So both will take us to same page. Just click on manage currencies. Click on go to task icon. Click on go to task icon. Here you can find any currency. Say you want to find out USD. Search. So you never create any currency, not required. All the currencies Oracle is providing, you can use for the setups. Now you can see this is a USD currency record. Currency code is USD. Currency name is US dollar. Description is US dollar. And you can see the currency is enabled and start date also given. Ideally, start dates and end dates you don't need to give. If you want to use this currency, ensure it is enabled. If you don't want to use, disable it. Or else you want to use this currency for certain period, only for 2 months or 1 year. For what period you want to use, you can give this date range so that after that end date, this currency will not be visible to record the transactions. That's how it works. But ideally, we don't use it. If you are using, we enable. If you are not using, we'll disable. If you disable, it won't be available to use. That's it. Ensure it is enabled. The same here, you can expand this record. Expand this record. You can see more details. This currency belongs to which country and what is the symbol of currency. Rest of precision and all default system takes. Okay. So this is all like as per ISO international standards, Oracle is providing. Okay. So ISO, International Standard Organization, which sets certain standards for the organizations for certain data. So as per that, this data Oracle is providing, you no need to change anything. So we'll go to check INR. So check for INR. Any country currency you can check. You can find that relevant country currency records, and you can ensure. Okay, you can ensure which you are going to use for your client. Just 1 second. Yeah. So this is a currency. If you want to see all the currencies, you just remove this and click on search. It will list out all the currencies. So this currency also enabled. So this is how you can find the currencies. So any questions here, please? And one more point, stat currency. So everything Oracle is providing. Okay. So everything Oracle is providing, you can see stat currency, stat. So this is how you can find out the currencies in the system. If you want to see all the currencies, don't give any currency code or name, directly hit search. It will list out all the currencies. There are more than 200 currencies. You can see all this. You no need to create currency, Oracle is providing the currency. Okay. So this is how just you can have all the currencies, which currency you require, you can enable. And another point is what Oracle is doing when they are providing all these currencies, they are enabling and providing all the currencies. You are implementing for one of the US clients and they are doing the business only in US. They don't have any foreign suppliers and customers. Now they don't need any currency other than USD. So here you can come to this page, disable all the currencies except USD. So when users are going to record the transactions, they will not have a challenge of choosing the currency. If they are doing the business with only India along with USD, enable INR, They may record the transactions in USD. Wherever it is applicable, they can choose INR currency and they record the transactions. In that case, we set exchange rates. That we will see later. So this is the point you have to understand. Okay. What you have to do is disable all the currencies. What are the currencies your client is not going to use? Otherwise, it would be a big list. Okay. If they are recording the transactions with their local currency, functional currency, that is okay. Along with the functional currency, if the client is going to record the transaction, the foreign currencies, the foreign currency will be lying in the big list. That is the reason. Whatever the currency required apart from that, rest all you can disable so that these won't be visible at the time of transaction creation for business users, since they don't need access to all these. So that's what you can optimize in the system environment. If you want to create new currency, it's pretty simple. And another point, see, okay, we'll discuss that. Just let me proceed with the currency creation. Here you can click on create. It will add one row. Okay. Here you can add the currency. You can write the description. Done. So this issued by which country and all, you can add details here. Which country issued, okay. So that's all you can write it. If currency is missing, okay, if currency is missing, you can do that. Otherwise, no. This is how you can create. Just collapse this. Since this is created by us, this currency we can delete. I can delete this record. And these all currencies are provided by Oracle. You cannot delete. If you created something, you can delete. If Oracle provided, you cannot delete it. See, this is how it works with the currencies. This is what we have to understand exactly when we talk about currency part. Any questions here, please?
Lakshman, for each and every currency we have start and end date, right? So in the case of functional currency, what could be the scenario we are going to set the
Not at
start
all
date?
required. You just the end date, start dates, and end dates. We never deal with that. It's very simple. It could be your functional foreign or any currency. If you are going to designate that currency to use for specific period, that you can give as start date and end date. Generally, we don't do that. If you don't require, you will disable it. It won't be pop up. That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions, please?
Do we need to mention somewhere like this is a functional currency and this is a foreign currency?
No. That system will understand, even we will understand, okay, based on the transactions. So when you are doing the business in US, we will designate specific currency as a functional with our setups. Okay. By doing the setups in the system, we will tell to the system, this is my functional currency. Then automatically system will understand rest all are foreign. Yeah.
Okay.
With our setups, we will communicate with the system. We will see as a part of setups. Okay, we no need to go and put any label anywhere. No.
Okay. So one more question, Lakshman. Suppose before I joined, so this setup is done, system setup is done. Okay, there are two currencies. One is INR, one is USD. Okay, how would I know? So which one is for functional?
There are setups. When you see the setups, you will understand, because only functional currency you will select into so-and-so setup. If you go to that setup, if you see some currency, then you can understand, okay, this is functional currency. Okay. Fine. Each country, only one functional currency. By doing the setup, you can specify that.
Okay.
Yeah. You'll see that the concept wise that we call as a ledger, primary ledger. In primary ledger, whatever the currency you choose, that is your functional currency.
Okay.
You will see that when we do the setups, we'll come to know. But as of now, that is the answer we can have. Any other questions, please? Okay. So no questions done. So I'm going to stop here for today. The reason, because of people in some festive mood, they could not turn up. So with that reason, I'm just stopping here. From tomorrow onwards, we'll try to spend good amount of time as per our schedule. We'll run the session up to 9:30 as per IST time zone. So today I'm stopping because many guys are missing due to the festival and all. So if you have any questions, please stay back. We'll discuss. If no questions, we are done for today. Thank you all. See you tomorrow.
Thank you,
Any
Lakshman.
questions from anyone, please? Yeah, thank you. Any questions? Please stay back. We'll discuss. Any questions? Please go ahead. Okay, great. No questions. So that's all for today. We'll connect tomorrow same time. Thank you all.
Thanks, Lakshman. Bye.
Yeah, thank you.